All right, guys, this is first in a series of videos I'm going to do called Walks with Jack. You can see Jack right there. Jack, you being a good boy? You having a good time? So this is Teddy Roosevelt Island, which is our favorite park locally. This is the bridge that goes over to the island. You can see behind there is the Roslyn skyline and the GW Parkway. And I'll get into in a little bit how to access the parking lot here, because it's a little tricky. You can only access it from the northbound lanes of the GW Parkway. So if you're coming from Spout Run, Lorcom Lane, Lee Highway, which is in that direction, you have to head south. And the way I do it is I go into Arlington National Cemetery and use the roundabout there. So here is the first part. And we're gonna take you on a little tour of the island. All right, guys, so here we are on one of the trails. And you can see this time of year, obviously there's not a lot of vegetation going on. In the spring and summer and fall, it's like a wall of green. So we'll be sure, sorry, I'm moving the camera too fast here. So we'll be sure to show you guys that, because we come probably every couple of weeks, I'd say, at least once a month down here. We've seen deer, right, Jack? Raccoons. Never seen a fox though, right, buddy? Or possum. Obviously, there are a ton of birds around here. One of the things to watch out for, though, as you can see, we're coming up to it here, is it can get a little muddy. So we may have to turn around or walk around this spot up here. So we'll see what happens. So this is one of the, basically one of the ends of the island. And you can see the Key Bridge there. You got Georgetown, the Whitehurst Freeway, back through there. This is really good kayaking spot along here. This is sort of not quite a tributary. What would you call this? Like a secondary channel, I guess, from the main river, which is over in that direction. We'll take you guys by, if we can find it. There actually is still, right, Jack? We've seen it. The ruins, basically, of the old ferry slip that the Mason family themselves, as I understand it, put in here. Because that was the only access to the island. There was a ferry slip that, with a little ferry that ran between Georgetown and the island in this general direction. So we're gonna go and see if we can try and find it. We'll film it for you guys. I found this this little placard here, and it kind of explains a little bit more about it. So basically says, because I don't think you'll be able to read it, after the great ice flood of 1784, continued siltation of the river threatened to close the Georgetown port. In an attempt to deepen the Georgetown harbor, a causeway was constructed on this location in 1805. A road connected it with John Mason's ferry. Stagnant water gathered behind the causeway and forced the Mason family to leave their island retreat. It was removed in 1979 upon completion of the pedestrian bridge. And there's a picture of it. All right, guys, so here is a better video of the Georgetown waterfront. It's kind of a cool, sort of unique view of Georgetown and its waterfront, which is actually in that direction. But you can see there's definitely something left over here. It's low tide, as you can tell. So I don't want to walk down there because I'm sure it's pretty muddy. So you can kind of see here. And forgive me if the camera's a little shaky. I'm trying to do this with my left hand here. But you can kind of see Georgetown waterfront. Right, Jack? What do you think, buddy? One thing I should mention is there's a lot, it's obviously dog friendly. On the weekends, this place gets packed with joggers and walkers and all sorts of stuff. Jack and I are currently on I guess you'd call it an auxiliary trail. So this isn't really conducive to jog on, but there are better marked trails, wider trails without all this undergrowth where people go jogging all the time. You can walk. It's not, unfortunately, wheelchair friendly. There's a lot of ruts. I'll take some pictures of that so you can kind of see it. But it is nice to kind of get in nature, and you're in the middle of the city, but you're in like a little cool nature park here. You having fun, buddy? All right, we gotta keep moving. All right, guys, so here's what I was talking about. Here is leftover sections of the old ferry slip. And you can see, you got Georgetown off in this direction. And actually, our timing is pretty good because it's low tide, so you can really get a sense of how large it was. Jackie, stay right there, buddy. You don't want to fall off there. But you can see it. At high tide, this is all pretty much hidden by the water. But there's the waterfront over there. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There you go. And here is the ferry slip, or I should say the old ferry slip. I'll look up, I'll let you guys know when the last time this was in use, but it's gotta be well over 100 years ago. Just want to videotape a little bit more of it so you can see Georgetown's right there. And you can kind of see the state of the wood here. This is slowly being eaten away. This is what the trail back here looks like. Jack, you see a fox? Do you see a fox? All right. Okay guys, so here is the beginning of the elevated portion of the trail around the island. This is sort of the low area. We're walking into the sort of the low marshy area of the island. You can see we're just kind of leaving the north section of the island. Here's a good example of the trail that's a little bit more cleaned out and cleared out and a little easier to follow. But you can see, hopefully you can tell with the camera that it's just, you really have to be careful when you walk because there's, you know, boulders and all sorts of stuff sticking out of the ground. So just keep that in mind. Doing okay, buddy? You're a good boy. All right, let's keep moving. All right, guys, so this is a cool little feature here in this marsh part of the trail. The Park Service, probably about 5-6 years ago now, redid the little tiny dock that was here, and they put in this much larger. There's a trail up there which we'll take you to in a minute. Sorry, that's Jackie pulling. You can see, yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, Jack, I know you want to keep moving. Yeah. Actually, guys, what I thought was feathers on the dock back there is actually seeds from these cat o' nine tails. I got the wrong name, I'm sure, but you can see they're starting to spread their seeds. The wind's picked them up. You got the Kennedy Center right there. And you got the Roosevelt Bridge right here, leading into the city and then into Arlington and Route 50 in that direction. All right, guys, so you got the Teddy Roosevelt Bridge here, and you can see what I mean. It's definitely low tide here. What do you think, Jack? It's usually full of ducks in here. All right, guys, so this is the elevated back portion of the island. The back trails is actually what I call it. And we'll walk you around and show you the view. And in this sort of area between these two trails is the ruins of the old Mason house. You can actually still see the foundation. So Jackie and I will try and find that for you guys. Hopefully we can find it. Sorry, Jack keeps pulling on the leash. I'm trying to hold Jack and take videos at the same time. It's not easy. But up here is, I wanted to show this to you guys. It's a really nice view. You can see the Watergate back there, Kennedy Center, and then you can actually see the trail that we were just walking on there as well. Might even be able to see the dock that we were out on. And not quite. But it kind of gives you a really good view. You can see why the Masons put their house up here. All right, guys, so we've gone off the path here. I'm looking for sort of the ruins of the old Mason house, and I'm not having any luck. I know they're in here because I've seen them before, years ago. It's basically just like cinder blocks and stuff like that, but it's kind of cool. So we'll keep looking here. Jackie, what do you think? You think we'll find it? Okay, so we just spooked some deer, and I think Jack got spooked too. Jack, did you hear the deer? Did you see them? It's a little hard to tell on camera, but we found sort of a rise in the ground here. You have the one trail here, you have sort of this woodland area, and I don't know if you can see the other trail that we were on earlier is way over there. So this is sort of a raised area, and I think this is pretty much where the house is. We're going to keep looking. Okay, guys, so we found some random stones here that seem a little out of place. I'm actually standing on like the highest point for a while here, and the woods get pretty dense after that. While I'm standing in the woods, it's a good time to mention in the summer and spring and fall, this island is full of poison ivy. So you just have to be careful. I would not recommend, in fact, probably the Park Service doesn't want people crawling around in the woods here really at any time, but definitely not in poison ivy season. The other thing is this area is full of ticks. Jack has different flea and tick stuff going on right now. I'm gonna have to be careful myself. This time of year, we're just coming off of a cold snap that lasted at least a month, so I'm hoping most of the ticks are dead, but you never know. So who knows? I'll definitely have to check both of us when we get back home, right, Jackie? All right, we'll keep looking. Okay, buddy, we can keep moving. Do you see the deer? Jackie, do you see the deer? Where are they? We heard them. You can hear that. Forgive me, I don't know if that's a hawk or an osprey. Somebody's making some noise up in the tree, right, Jack? Do you see the deer anywhere? All right, let's keep moving. All right, guys, so we pretty much walked around the circumference or the entire trail system here, which all basically leads to the actual monument, Teddy Roosevelt Monument here on the island, which is really, really, really beautiful. In the spring and summer, they fill these ponds up with water. They have to drain them for the winter, and it looks super cool. And you can see Teddy's statue over there. Sorry, I'm walking. I should stop moving. I'll get a better shot of it in a second. But it really is a lot of fun. It gets packed with people. Before the pandemic, you know, school kids and the whole 9 yards were always here. I will mention on the weekends, this place, especially if the weather's good, does get packed with people. So you have to get here to get a parking spot on a Saturday and Sunday as early as like 8:39 in the morning, especially during the season, because it's that popular of a spot. And there's Teddy right there. The fountains are going during the season. It's really beautiful. What do you think, Jackie? They did a nice job with the design. That's the entrance and the exit right there, that trail. And really, you could just come over here and just hang out at the monument, have like a little picnic or something. The monument's only about 3 minutes away from that pedestrian bridge that we filmed when we walked in. And a lot of people do that as well. They just kind of sit over here. They don't even bother with any of the trails. You just kind of sit and relax a little bit. There are these stone benches all over the place that you can see. And it really is, it's probably one of my favorite places here in DC to check out, and it's definitely worth a visit. Whether you're an Arlington resident or DC resident, Fairfax, and you've never been here, or you're visiting, it's definitely worth checking out. All right, until next time, Jack, what do you say? Say goodbye to everybody? All right, buddy. We'll see you next time.